सास ससुर का लफड़ा नहीं, परिवार का लफड़ा नहीं, सबसे दूर अपना सर्विस चाहिए, सर्विस वाला चाहिए, सर्विस वाला चाहिए। जरा विचार करना, सर्विस थोड़े दिन की, बिजनेस जीवन भर का कमाया खाया अपनी जिंदगी में मस्त जिए।
About money and finances. But before that, let's do something fun. So what I'm going to request is all of you have access to chat. Okay. So what I want you is to introduce yourself, your name with an adjective. Okay. My name is Prasad. So I'm going to start the adjective with P. So I'm going to write passionate Prasad. Okay. So I want you to take the first letter of your name and write an adjective that defines it. It should be quick. We are just going to have only 30 seconds for this. Okay, amazing. Ashwika, determined, Dorsey, miracle, Mayok, very nice. Kind, Kunal, gorgeous, Georgie, very nice, very innovative. Ultra Udit, amazing, Anshika, brilliant, Bhakti. That's nice. It's very nice. Shining, Shahana, King Krishna, very nice, very nice. Great. I think we have started on a great note. I want you to keep that energy along for the next 1 hour. We are going to have a lot of fun. And while we have fun, we're also going to learn about money and finances. All right. So let me share my screen. Just let me know once you're able to see the screen. Can everyone see the screen? Ma'am, can you see the screen?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay, great. So this is going to be an introductory workshop on financial literacy. Don't worry if you have not heard this term before. You will, by end of this 1 hour, you will get to learn about financial literacy. At least you'll get started on this journey. But before we start, let's do some riddles. But this time we are going to have some mathematical riddles. Okay, I want you to use your chat to respond. Okay, very simple question. What is half of 2 plus 2? Use your chat. Okay, I think almost everyone has given the answer 2, and I would like to, okay, I think I saw one answer as 3, and whoever has given that answer 3 is absolutely right. What is half of 2? 1. So 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Yeah, I know it was a little tricky. Okay, let's do a little simple one. Okay, all of you have used mobile phone, or probably you have logged in on your mobile phone. Okay, what will be the result if you multiply all the numbers on your phone keypad? Quick, we just have, okay, I got it. Almost everyone has given the correct answer. Yes, the answer is 0. Oh, there's someone said 3,62,800. Okay, the answer is 0, because if you multiply anything with 0, it becomes 0. All right, friends, thank you so much for participating. Let's learn about financial literacy. And I think before we start, would like to know that the world today is more complex than it was 5 years, 10 years, 20 years back. When I was your age, when I did my schooling in 80s, the world was very simple. Today it's become extremely complicated. Okay, and this picture just represent. Someone has requested. Please don't request this remote control of the screen. All right. Yeah, the world has become extremely complex. And what does that mean? As we grow up, right? As all of you grow up in this complex world, each one of us, irrespective of the age, will have to take several decisions. And many of these decisions will involve money or will have a financial transaction. Whether you are buying an insurance or you're buying your house or renting a house, or maybe you're taking college admission, or maybe you're buying a mobile phone for your brother or sister, or you're saving money, right? So there will be hundreds of such decisions that we'll have to take either on a daily basis or a monthly basis. And that is why all of us need to have these financial literacy skills. And when do we start developing that now? We start now. Why? Why should we develop this? What are the benefits of developing financial literacy? It equips us with the knowledge and skills, right, to manage money effectively. As I mentioned, we have to take a lot of decisions. So it will help us develop our ability to take wise decisions when it comes to money, whether it's about personal decisions or work related or education related. An important benefit, why a benefit of developing financial literacy skills is that it will help us plan our future goals, and we'll look at that. And I think the last point is it will also help your friend or family member become more aware of money and financial literacy. So let's understand this term. What is financial literacy? And if what I would suggest is, if you have any questions, make a note of those questions. I'm going to at the end answer all your questions. Just let's go through some concepts, understand the basics, and then we'll answer all your questions. Okay. So what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is, in simple terms, it's the ability to understand and effectively use knowledge. Knowledge for what? Knowledge of what? So personal financial management is managing our personal finances. Now, some of you who are very young in grade 5, 6 may find it little difficult, but don't worry, I'll give enough examples for you to understand. But for little older students in grade 8, 9, 10, this should be easy to understand. Budgeting, and we will also understand what is budgeting, but everyone understands future. So we need to plan for the future, right? Whether if you want to go to a different college, or if you want to go to a different city, country, you want to travel, you want to buy a house, whatever, buy a car, you want to plan for your future. Plan for retirement. It is very important. While it looks like the retirement is very far off, but we need to plan. Otherwise, when we retire, when we become old, we will end up with no money. So it is very important. Managing loans, and we'll understand what does loans mean. Managing investments. These are just some kind of points to this. Of course, financial literacy includes understanding about different financial instruments, understanding about stock market, mutual funds, all this. Today, we are not going to cover that. We'll keep it very simple. But just want to kind of highlight this important point, important statistics that I came across. The literacy rate in India is close to 70%. 70% out of 1.37 billion people are literate. What does that mean? They know how to read and write. But the financial literacy rate is less than 30%. It is only 27%. And this is a matter of concern, which means most of the people are not able to make financial decisions. They are very poor when it comes to making any decisions around money. And that is the reason why it is important to learn about it. So let's start with some basic concepts. Okay, what is savings? Okay. You can use the chat to respond. Okay, all of you who know what is saving, give your response. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond. Don't raise your hands. We can't unmute you right now. Okay. Himesh says money saving for future. Saving is the saving money. Okay. Planning to keep money for the future. Okay. All of you are right. Very good. Very good. I'm impressed. So yes, money put aside for future use or for emergency. That is saving. There are several experts, there's several research that has gone into this concept of savings, and what people recommend that whatever is your income, of course, all of your students, you probably don't have income, but your parents probably are earning or they have some business, all this. What is recommend that whatever is your income, you should keep aside 10 to 20%. If you can afford 20%, you should keep aside 20% of your saving, 20% of your income towards savings. And what does the saving works on a concept of pay yourself first? What does that mean? Let's say you have 1,000 rupees, and what is 10% of 1,000? It is 100 rupees. So you keep aside 100, you pay yourself 100. What does pay yourself mean? That money is for you, for your future use. And that is what savings is. Okay, very simple concept, but very, very powerful concept and very difficult for a lot of people, because everyone thinks, okay, I will save money later on. Let me just enjoy today. And then they end up in a lot of trouble. Okay, so very simple definition. All of you are very young and you need to start saving right now. Whatever, if you get some pocket money, or if let's say your grandfather or grandmother gives you money, or your relatives give you some money, you need to save those money. And there are a lot of benefits of saving early. Okay, it helps kind of build that, it disciplines our spending habits. It of course will help us become financially independent. As I mentioned, it helps us prepare for emergency. Let's say if we fall sick or there is some emergency at home, we can use our saving. And right now, whatever is our lifestyle, it can help us upgrade. Say if we save enough money, maybe we can buy a better car or a better house, or maybe get some better education. Of course, it pays off in the long run. Right? Very simple definition, but very powerful. Clear? So if you are clear, if you have any questions, just hold on to that. But we'll just cover again that. Okay, let's now understand what is the concept of loan. Okay, you get 30 seconds to respond on your chat. What is a loan? Okay, Gargi says money taken for some period of time. Okay, borrow money from a company or person. Debt. Loan is money taken. Loan is the money that we borrow from a bank. All of you are absolutely right. Let's understand what is loan. So loan is an amount of money received from a bank or friends or even family. Family members can give loan, but every loan has a very specific purpose. So you borrow money for a specific purpose. Loan is sometimes also called as credit. What is very important is that whenever you get a loan, you promise to pay it back. And not only, so let's say if you have taken a loan of 1,000 rupees, you promise to pay back that 1,000 rupees, but with also some additional money, some extra money. And what is that extra amount called as? That is called as interest. It's a very simple money, because why you have to pay interest? Because someone has given you the money to use it. And after your use, you have to return that money. And this money is generally repaid in a specific period of time. Right? Very easy concept. Why? Okay. What are different types of loans? Let's understand. Okay. Maybe let's give a try. What are different types of loans that you know? Okay. Sanyam says short term, long term. Daria says home loan, gold loan. Very nice. Financial education loan. What else? Car loan, gold loan. Very nice. All of you are right. Yeah. There are different types of loans. Here are a few examples. There's personal loan. So you take a loan from a bank, let's say for a holiday, or if you have some function, maybe there is a marriage in your home. Okay, you take that loan. Or a student loan or an education loan. Credit cards are also a type of loan. I'm sure many of you have seen credit cards, or probably your parents have a credit card. Credit cards are also loan. Auto loan. Let's say if your family has purchased a car, also they can avail an auto loan, or a business loan, or a home loan. All of you are absolutely right. So these are different types of loans. But what is very important is that you promise to pay back that loan with some additional amount, with an extra amount. Easy. So we have covered two concepts, very important concepts, savings and loan. So there is one important player, okay, that we all of us need to understand. And that player is a bank. Now, all of you go to schools. Schools are very important because schools help us get the education, get the learning. But when it comes to money, there is an important organization that all of us need to interact, and that is called a bank. So let's understand, what is your understanding of a bank? Again, you get 10 seconds. An organization which provides us money. Bank is a place where we put money, where we keep our money, where money is stored, organization. Absolutely. All the answers are right. Very nice. So what's the definition? Bank is a financial institution. Very simple definition I'm going to give you. Bank does two activities. They accept money from people and they lend money. Okay, very simple. If anyone asks you what is a bank, you should remember these two things. It's putting money, or the bank is an organization that accepts money from people. And why do they accept money? For purpose of lending or investment. So people deposit money. You would have heard of savings bank account or a fixed deposit, right? People deposit money. We just now saw about loans. So people borrow money. But most of the banks also have an additional function, which is the investment. So many people get investment services. There are, of course, a lot of other activities nowadays a bank does, but we'll not get into that right now. For today's session, we'll keep it very simple. Okay. So we have learned about savings. We have learned about loans. We have learned about bank. Yeah. Himesh says transaction as well. Absolutely right, Himesh. Now, there are different types of banks. Now, here you will see there are some definitions. There are retail banks, there are commercial banks, investment banks, central banks, there are mutual banks, savings and loan. Okay. Now, very common bank that all of us know. So all the adults, right, individuals that they use they use for depositing money or taking loan, these are called retail banks. So banks that cater to individuals are retail banks. But similarly, banks that cater to businesses. Now, it could be a startup or a large business house or a corporate, let's say a company like Reliance. So Reliance, so if a bank caters to Reliance, that is called a commercial bank. Or maybe a school or a hospital. For all their financial transaction, they may use a bank. So all these are commercial banks. Now, there are other types of banks like investment banks that sell stocks and bonds. There are, well, credit unions, they are very small in India, but outside, if you go to Europe or US, you will find these credit unions are very common. They give loans to workers. All of you, if you have heard of Reserve Bank of India, what is Reserve Bank of India? It's the Central Bank of India, right? It's a central bank. What is the activity of central bank? They are responsible for the country's money. They are responsible. They help. They work with the government in spending. They manage the inflation part, right? So that's central bank. If you go to England, it is called as Bank of England. In US, it is called as US Federal Reserve, right? There are other international banks. There is a bank like a World Bank that lends money to countries, poor countries, like let's say Bangladesh, all this. They get a lot of aid from banks like World Bank for their infrastructure project. Yeah, IMF is the right example. IMF is also an international bank. All right, friends. I know some of you are, of course, engaged, and some of you are feeling little. If it's little difficult, don't worry. I'm going to share this PPT. It will be uploaded. I will share it with the CAM team, and they will share it with you. You will get to learn about all this. Let's now. Okay, now we have covered some important concepts. We have covered about savings. We have covered about loans. We have talked about banks. Let's do a small riddle. How good are you in maths? How many of you are good in maths? Okay, this is okay. Let's do a riddle. Okay, all of you have. Let's assume that you have 500 rupees with you. You go to Domino's. All of you know what is Domino's. Of course, it's the pizza center, right? The person at the Domino's counter says, "Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Today we have a special offer. In rupees 500, you can either get two 12-inch Supreme Veg pizzas or one large 18-inch Supreme Veg Pizza? Which one would you buy and why? You get 30 seconds to respond on chat. Okay. Okay. Some of you are saying you will buy two 12-inch pizzas. Most of you are saying two 12-inch pizzas. There are few people who are saying one large 18-inch pizza. As I said, I also need the reason why it is very important. Okay, some of you are giving example 12 plus 12 is 24, and that's why you will buy 12. Okay, all right. I think interesting answers. Most of you have said two 12-inch pizzas. There are few of you have said one 18-inch pizza. Let's see the answer. Okay, the correct answer is one large 18-inch pizza. Why? Because you get more pizza in that. So you need to understand, some of you did 12 plus 12, 24. You thought, okay, that's why you get more pizza. No, what is 12 or 18-inch? That is very, very important. What is 18-inch to 12? It's the diameter of the pizza. So how do you kind of measure, okay, the amount of pizza? You take the area of the pizza. So what is the area of a 12-inch pizza? Okay, simple formula, pi r square. So for a 12-inch, what will be the radius? It will be 6. So it will be 36 pi for one. So for two 12 inches, it will be 72 pi, right? But what would be the area of a 18-inch pizza? It will be 81 pi. So you actually get more pizza when you buy one 18-inch pizza. Okay, tricky, but this is how many of the pizza houses, they also sell this. They also lure you with buy two instead of one, and you think, okay, that's a great offer. But you should remember this, and this is how you become kind of smart with your money and finances. And this is, of course, knowing maths. Maths is very important. All right. Now that we have learned about this, let's go to the next concept. So we have learned about savings, we have learned about loans, we have learned about banks. Now, how many of you have heard of credit cards and debit cards? Right? Simple. I am not going to ask you what is a credit card, debit card. Here is it. So what is a credit card? Right? So bank that issues a credit card that gives you money to use it and pay later. It is used now, pay later. So this is like a borrowed fund. It's a loan. Of course, credit card company, why do people take credit cards? So banks say, okay, they tie up with airlines or hotels, they give you reward points, they give you discount. They say, okay, you go to this restaurant and you get 25% discount if you pay by your credit card, right? So there is something called as building a credit score. So when you use a credit card, it helps you build a credit. So there are organizations that track the credit history of people. Don't worry if you don't understand, but some of you who do understand. So that helps you build credit. But very, very important, you need to understand, credit cards come with very, very high interest. There are banks that charge interest as high as 36%, or sometimes even 48%. They charge 3%, 4% per month. So if you don't pay your bill, credit card bill on time, you end up spending a lot of money. Okay, too much spending. In fact, in India also it is now started, but in the US and in Europe, there are a lot of people who have lost a lot of money because they use their credit card to spend and then they didn't have money to repay. Okay, one benefit now it's come as a lot of banks that they offer fraud protection. So that's about credit card. Now, there's something called as a debit card, and many of you probably would have used your parents' card to, let's say, withdraw money from an ATM or a bank, or use it for buying something, or maybe buying online. So debit cards are, of course, far better than credit cards, because what happens in debit card, the money, it is your money that you spend. There's generally, most of the banks don't have any fees for that. There's no interest charge. But of course, one drawback of using debit card, it doesn't help you build your credit. All right, so that's kind of about debit card. Okay, let's learn about what is a budget. How many of you have heard this term, budget? I'm going to give 30 seconds for you to respond. What is the budget? You can use chat to respond. Country budget. It is a planning or an investment. Money spent in a given time. A list of uses of money. Money range of something. Planning where to spend and financial plan. Very nice. All of you are really very smart people. Money we have. Investment. Money bifurcated to be used in certain planning of money. Good responses. Good responses. Many of all of you are almost there. Okay. So let's understand what is a budget. Budget is, in simple terms, it's a financial plan for the future. Now, future of whose future? Future of an individual, could be a future of a family, a business, an organization, even a country. So if a country has to decide how much money to spend on, let's say, building a flyover or spending on building a metro or upgrading an airport, okay, they need to plan for that. That's why the countries, there is a finance minister who presents a budget at the country level. Now you have to come down. Similarly, in an organization, if you're running a business, you need to plan, and that is your budget. Okay, how much money are you going to spend for everything? Maybe for paying salaries to your employees or buying some equipment. But for an individual also, it is very, very important. Unfortunately, most of the individuals, I would say 9 out of 10 individuals don't know this concept of budget or don't have a budget, don't plan for a budget. And that's why they end up in a lot of trouble. So budget is a financial plan. And why are budgets useful? Because they help us understand the end goals or requirements. So you can say, okay, what is the budget? I would like to, at the end of 1 year, I would like to buy a car, or I would like to enroll for this class, and this class, the fees is 10,000 rupees or whatever, right? You need to plan for that. So budgets are used to understand end goals, what are the targets, and you can monitor performance. That's very, very important. See, if you see the third point, what does budgets do? They show how much money people need to earn and spend. Let's say now if your family decides to buy a house, and that house costs, let's say, 50 lakh rupees, and you've got only 10 lakh rupees, and even to get a loan, they say, okay, the down payment is 20 lakh rupees, which means you need to now earn additional 10 lakh rupees or arrange that 10 lakh rupees from somewhere so that you can pay 20 lakh rupees and get a loan of 30 lakh. So that is what, so to need to earn or spend, that's where budgets really help. Now budgets, you can do it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis, even half yearly, yearly. It depends on your use and how you want to kind of do it. But what is very, very important is that you need to monitor it regularly. And a simple concept. Okay, so just a summary of what is a budget. Budget is a plan for your money to meet your needs and wants. Okay, let's understand. So I've used here two terms, needs and wants. Do you understand the difference between needs and wants? What is a need and what is a want? Use your chat to respond. What is a need? Udayan says need is necessary, want is choice. Very nice answer. Yeah, needs is really required, need is necessary, wants are wish. Right? I think, yeah, you guys are very smart. I'm really impressed. Yeah. Needs is basically, let's say you tell your mother, mom, I'm hungry. So what do you need? You need food, right? That's your need, food. Now, any type of food because you are hungry. But what is your want? And if your mother says, okay, beta, take, here is roti sabzi, right? And you said, mom, no, I can't eat roti sabzi. I want a burger, right? So burger becomes a want, right? Need is the necessity, want is a choice. Very nice. Okay. So when it comes to money, right? So now what happens is, as humans, of course, we have to support both our needs and wants, right? And so we need to plan for that. And that's why budget really helps. Budget really is not about restricting yourself, but it is a means to have realistic idea of your finances, and it helps us control spending and accomplishing goals. So, and many of you probably use a timetable for your study or something, right? When you learn or something. Budget is similar when it comes to money, because it gives you a plan. You know, okay, how much to spend, how much you are left with. If you have gone down, okay, you need to add some money or maybe earn more money, whatever. That's your kind of that's how budget helps. Simple. Yeah, so we have covered today about savings, we have covered about loans, we have covered about banks, we looked at credit cards and debit card, we looked at budgets. Right? Simple. Now there are some simple ideas that I'm going to share with you to become financially smart. Okay, first simple idea is set aside a small amount of money every month. And we'll see the power of it. Okay, amount set aside. So this is an example. Let's say you set aside 500 rupees. Maybe you get the pocket money or whatever, right? But you set aside 500 rupees. And there is something, you put a deposit or something and you get, let's say 8% interest. In 10 years, that 500 rupees deposited every month for 10 years, that money will grow to rupees 92,083. That's the power of interest. And if it's a small amount, 500 rupees, but at the end of 10 years, you get 92,000 rupees. Right? Now, similarly, from 500, if you put, let's say 5,000 rupees, if you can afford, if your family can afford, that money will grow to 9,20,820 rupees. And this is how you can probably fund your college education. So, small amount of money, right? Let's say now if you're financially smart, if your family knows and they invest in something, maybe a gold, real estate, whatever, stocks or something, that gives a slightly higher interest rate, interest of 15%. That 500 rupees, same 500 rupees can grow to 1,39,000 rupees, or that 5,000 rupees can go to 13 lakh rupees. That's the power of this. So this is one simple idea for you to become financially smart. Okay. Now you will ask me, okay, where do you get 500 rupees? How do you save 500 rupees? It could be just as simple, right? Maybe you go to McDonald's or pizza, or you go out to eat every month, right? Eating one less McDonald's meal can help you save 500 rupees. Or maybe you buy t-shirts every month, just one less t-shirt. Or you take a Uber or Ola, instead of that, you take a bus. These are some examples for you to just say, okay, from where you can get that 500 rupees. And if you start saving that, it will help it, that money will grow tremendously. Okay, one simple idea. Second, I would say very, very important is start making a budget. Okay, there are four simple steps. Okay, first is you have to list down all your income and expenses. Okay, whatever your, if you, let's say maybe you do some part-time work, something wherever you have some source of income for your family, or there are some expenses that you have that. You have to itemize and prioritize all your expenses, whatever expenses you know, or your family. Maybe you work with your parents to prepare a family budget. Okay, at that time you can prioritize. Okay, maybe we need to spend money on petrol. Maybe we need to spend money on grocery or whatever, electricity bill, whatever. These are very important. Now, what is very important is most of the time, the step 3 is a lot of people miss out on step 3, which is irregular expenses. Now, irregular expenses, maybe someone falls sick, or maybe you have to go for a birthday party and you have to give a gift. So that's an expense. Or maybe your car breaks down, or your two-wheeler breaks down and you need to repair. So you need to spend money. Or maybe there is some event in the school and you need to spend money, right? These are irregular expenses. What are irregular? That doesn't occur regularly. But what happens is there is a lot of research that has done that this irregular expense happen on a regular basis. Actually, that's the irony of it. So you need to keep aside some pool of money. Now that may be used for different purposes, but you need to have that pool of money for irregular. And of course, then whatever is left, you have to put it in some savings instrument. Second idea. So we've come to an end of this. I'll give you a quick introduction of what Uptix does. Uptix is an organization. We have a learning experiences platform. What we do is we make learning engaging and fun through such workshops, and we also do competitions. So all of you, I'm going to invite all of you. We are actually doing a competition on financial literacy. That is called Money 101. This is there are 2 tracks for juniors grades 6 to 8 and seniors grades 9 to 12. There are a lot of prizes to be won. going to be simple competition, I would suggest you visit this site app.optics.com and register. We've already got a lot of registration. We are expecting more than 5,000 students across India to participate. And if there are questions or if there are principals, teachers here who would like to do bulk registration, please send us a WhatsApp message or send us an email and we'll be happy to respond. So with that, I am going to end my presentation and we'll do some Q&A. I'm open for question answers. So ma'am, how do we do this Q&A part? Do people, do we unmute them or should we take it on the chat or Q&A?
Sir, either they can raise their hands and we can give them a permission to unmute, or if feasible, then we can take it on the chat, because I can see the chat is already overflowing.
Yeah, okay. Let's unmute. Okay, let's go one by one. Deepika Gambhir. Okay, I'm going to unmute you. You need to unmute and ask your question. Deepika, you've raised your hand.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you explain me need again?
Need and wants? Is that the question? What is the difference between need and wants? Is that the question, Deepika? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are needs? Needs are basic necessity. As I gave that example, let's say, what is a need? If let's say your school is 5 kilometers away from your home. So what is your need? That you need to reach school safely in a comfortable environment, right? So could be, let's say you go by a school van or a school bus, right? So there needs to be a vehicle to take you from your home to your school. That's a need, and that need is getting kind of addressed. But if you say, no, I am going to go to school only in my Mercedes, okay, I don't like to travel by any other vehicle, that becomes a want, right? So that's the difference. In simple terms, let's say sometime you go out, let's say you are hungry, and whatever food is available at home, you eat that, so that you satisfy your need. But you say, no, today I'm going to have only burger, or I'm going to have only aloo paratha, that becomes a want. So that's the difference between need and want. Needs are basic necessities, wants are choices to meet. I hope that answers. Let's take some other. Dorsey, I'm going to unmute you. Please ask your question.
Sir, what is pay yourself first?
Pay ourselves first. Okay, good question. So that's a concept for savings. What happens is when people have that money, or let's say as adults, when they get a salary, our first instinct is, okay, let's pay all the bills. Let's pay this bill. Let's have some expenses. Maybe, okay, let's also go out to a restaurant. Let's enjoy, maybe watch a movie. But in that, so what happens is many families, if they follow that, they don't end up saving any money. So what pay ourselves means is whatever money you earn, whether you earn 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, or 1 crore rupees, you set aside some amount of money. And so how do you set aside? It is called that, okay, you pay yourself. Let's say if you earn 1 lakh rupee, you pay yourself 5,000 rupees first, which is that amount, that money, 5,000 rupees is kept aside for future. So that is the concept of future. That is concept of savings. I hope, Dorsey, that answers. All right. Alan, I'm going to unmute you. What's your question, Alan? Alan, unmute yourself and ask your question. Alan? Okay, looks like Alan has some trouble asking that question. Okay, I'm going to Neil Chandra. You have raised your hand.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Alan. Yes,
Sir.
Alan.
Sir, I didn't understand the concept of you said that if we save 500 rupees a month and 8% interest, and with 8% interest, and after 10 years it comes 92,083. Can you just explain it again?
Sure. Good question, Alan. I will explain that. Let me show the slide also. Okay, so here, so what you are doing, Alan, is keeping aside 500 rupees every month. It is not one time. Okay, 500 rupees one time will not grow to 92,000 rupees in 10 years. Okay, if you just do it once, it is every month, which means in a year you are putting aside 6,000 rupees. and you get 8% interest. So what happens is after a year, you get 8% interest on 6,000 rupees. Now next year, so you know, if Alan, you are in which class? Which grade? Do you know this concept of simple interest and compound interest? Okay, Alan, I think you're on mute probably. Okay, so there is this concept of simple interest and compound interest. And here what we have taken is compound interest, which means after 1 year, whatever interest gets accumulated, it gets added to that money. And next year, you get interest on that interest as well. Okay, that's how the money grows to 92,000 rupees. Alan,
Sir, I'm in fifth. Sir, I'm in fifth grade.
Fifth grade. So Alan, so you will probably learn, I don't know, fifth grade, probably they don't teach you interest, but there's something called as a simple interest and compound interest. Okay, when you probably go to 6th or 7th standard, I think they'll teach you about interest. But that's how. So what happens is you keep aside this money. But so when I say keep aside, it's not just keeping the money at home. No one will give you interest at home, right? You have to keep that money. Maybe you put that money with your father or mother and they put it in a bank account, or they put it in a fixed deposit account. There is something called as a monthly recurring account. So you can actually put money that and that gives you interest. That's how. So, okay. So just to clarify, when you say set aside that money, it's not to keep that money home at home. You have to put it in a bank or some other place that gives you interest. All right. Let's take some other question. Kamana, I'm going to unmute you. Please ask your question. Yeah, Kamana, what is your question?
Sir,
Kamana, can't hear you.
why are we supposed to take loans?
Okay. Question is, why are we supposed to take loans? Very good question, Kamana. What happens is nowadays we live in a world, all of us want to live a good life. Now, when we say good life, we want to have a good house, we want to have maybe a car at home, we want to go on holidays or whatever. Now, many times what may happen is we may not have enough money, or maybe let's say all our money is tied up in some other, maybe we have another land or a house, but we can't use that money because it's so we don't have cash for all our wants, right? Whether it's a holiday or that, and that's why we need to take loans. That is the why. So banks will say, okay, don't worry, right now if you don't have enough cash, okay, we give you loan, you pay us interest, whenever you get money you pay us back. That's the reason people take loan. People also take loan for other purposes. Let's say when you graduate, when you complete your education, and you say, okay, I don't want to work, but I want to start my own business. Could be anything. Could be starting your own boutique, or maybe doing a shop, or starting your restaurant. Now for that, you need to have money, because you will have to buy some space, you will have to establish your company, get people to work for you. How will you get all this money? Because unless your business starts and you start earning, you will not be able to do that. So the bank says, okay, don't worry, Kamna, here is a loan. You start your business. Once you start earning, you pay us back. So Kamna, I hope that answers. Okay, Nidhi Tomar Shekhawat, I am going to unmute you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, Nidhi. What's your question, Nidhi?
Sorry, sir, I was unable to rename myself. My name is Arvindaksh.
Arvindaksh. Okay, Arvindaksh, what's your question?
Sir, my question is stock market useful or not?
Was stock market useful or not? Arvindaksh, you are in which grade? You are in which grade? Okay, so whatever, I'm assuming Arvindaksh, looking at you, probably you are in grade 9th or grade 10th. Okay. So whether stock markets are useful or not?
I'm in grade 8th.
You are in grade 8. Okay. Stock markets are not very easy to understand. Okay. You need to have a good knowledge about stock market. Okay. To put your money in that. As youngsters, we have you've not really gone through that education about understanding about financial markets, how the stock market functions, what is a share, whether we should invest. Because what happens is many times you will say, okay, markets are rising. You probably would have heard of the term Sensex and Nifty. These are indexes of large stock exchanges, and you say, okay, maybe you have heard of some stories. Let's say your relatives have earned a lot of money in stock markets and all this. But what happens? These are very, very risky investments. You need to have full knowledge of it before you enter. So to answer your question, stock markets are useful only if you have knowledge. Otherwise, there are a lot of people who have lost money. In fact, there are people who have taken loans to invest in stock market because that greed comes into picture. People want returns at quick returns, and in that greed, people lose a lot of money. So I would say at your age, stay away from stock market. Of course, you learn about it for the next 2-3 years. Learn about how stock markets function. What is a share? How do stock exchanges function? And then when you probably get into graduation, and if you have some money, you can try maybe with little amount of money. There are other ways where you can get benefited through stock market return. Maybe you can invest through mutual funds, or there are other instruments where you don't need to have a direct knowledge about stock market, but you can invest through mutual funds, and there are mutual fund managers who invest in stocks. Okay, Arvindaksh, I hope that answers. Okay, let's say Nathi Sanvi Sherin. I'm going to unmute you. What's your question, Nathi?
Sir, could you please explain the concept of loans again?
Concept of loans. All right. Nathi, you're in which grade?
Sir, I'm in 6th grade. Sir, actually, my name is Sanvi.
Sanvi. Okay. Sanvi. What is a loan? So what happens is loan is a money. Loan is amount of money that someone gives you for a very specific purpose. Okay. Now that someone can be your family member. Okay. Can be a money lender, can be an organization, can be a bank. The most common type of loans are when people take money from a bank. But in villages, if you in villages or smaller towns where there are no banks, there are individuals who give money, who give loan. Now, concept of loan is Sanvi, is people take that money for a specific purpose. Let's say in a village, sometimes people take money to buy seeds during if they have to harvest it, or they take money to buy, let's say a cow or a bull. In cities, people take loans to maybe buy a car or go on a holiday or start a business. There are different types of, this is for different purposes. Loan is also sometimes called as credit, right? What is very, very important is that loan is, someone is just not giving you money and I say, okay, you keep this money, right? You are obliged to pay it back. Legally, you are obliged to pay it back, and not pay it back only the amount that you have received. You have to pay back the interest, that additional amount, because someone has trusted you with that loan, right? So that is how. And of course, every loan comes within a very specified period of time. So you need to repay that in a specific period of time. I hope that answers Sanvi. Let's ask a few other questions. I'm not looking at chat. There are a lot of questions on chat. So I'm going to have like 2 more people unmute, and then I'm going to take some questions from the chat. Okay, let's have Arav. Arav, I'm going to unmute you. Ask your question, Arav.
Yes, sir. I didn't understand the saving part, sir.
Arav, you are in which grade?
Sir, 5th.
5th. Okay. Do you get any pocket money?
Yeah.
How much money do you get?
Sir, I have a piggy bank.
You have a piggy. That exactly. You have a piggy bank, right? That is exactly savings. Your gullak, piggy bank or gullak is your savings. You are keeping aside some money that maybe your parents have given or grandparents have given, or you're keeping aside. The only thing with a piggy bank, what happens, because piggy bank is at home, that money doesn't grow. Let's say if you have put 100 rupees in piggy bank, it will be 100 rupees. But what has happened is you have kept aside that money for future use. That is exactly the concept of savings. The only thing is, if you keep that money in a bank or an organization that pays interest, that money grows.
Okay.
Okay, that's the concept of saving. Good question, Arav. And I'm very impressed that you have a piggy bank. Please build on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't ever take out money from that piggy bank. For next 5 years, you should not take out. Only when you complete your grade 10th, you should take
Okay,
out.
sir.
All right. Great. Look, let's take some other questions. Last question. Okay, here, and then we'll take questions from the chat. Shweta Sharma, I'm going to unmute you. So please ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
So
afternoon.
my question is like all the sources in which we put our money are volatile. Like there are frauds with the banks also, and the stocks market are also very volatile and are basically very different from day to day. So, is there any option where our money is safe and it grows also?
Very good question, Shweta. You're in which grade, Shweta? Shweta, if you can tell me your grade, because this is a question that even most of the adults probably will struggle with that. Very good question.
Hello, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're in which grade?
So I'm Rasesh and sir, I'm in grade 9 currently.
Grade 9. Very good question, Shweta, and good that you're thinking about it. Whether putting money in a bank or some other place, is it safe? That's Shweta's question. And that is the world that we live in. We started with this, if you remember that slide, the world is very, very complex today. And since it's become very complex, even large organizations, sometimes they fail to measure the risk involved. So you would have heard that some banks lend money to big players, like the people have lent money to Vijay Mallya or Nirav Choksi, and they have done fraud. They have not repaid that money and they have gone outside, right? And then there are banks. So last week, RBI cancelled the license of a bank called as Rupee Bank, right? You would have heard in money. And so Shweta's question is our money safe? And unfortunately, the answer is not. But only thing is, there are state banks, right? There are nationalized banks. And if you put money in deposits, what happens is government of India, okay, they assure you that your money will be paid, irrespective, even if the bank goes down, the government will pay you. But only thing is, it may take some time because government will also have to arrange money to pay you back, right? So there is nothing that is safe per se. But yes, now traditionally, if you would have heard, maybe your grandparents would have invested in gold, or they would have bought a land or a house. Now what happens is, when you buy a gold, okay, you don't go and trade that gold, you keep that gold with you. And since gold is kind of a rare element, the value of that grows. If when people, maybe they buy more gold during weddings or thing, and that becomes relatively safe, whether it's a gold or a real estate, relatively safe. That also carries risk. The value can fluctuate, but that relatively safe compared to stock markets or other instruments. Good question, Shweta. And there is no one answer to this, and that's the reason we need to continuously upgrade and upscale our financial knowledge. Money matters. The time now is 4:55. I'm going to take some questions on from the chat. Okay, sir, can you one second? Can you explain credit card again? I'm going to take Janardhan. Okay, someone has asked this question. So, what is a credit card? Credit card is nothing but a loan. Okay, bank gives you a card. It is like an amount of money that you can use. So, which is a loan. Bank gives you that money. He said, okay, you can use this money, let's say for 30 days. And then at the end of the 30 days, we will send you a statement, how much money you have used from your credit card, and you have to pay that. So generally, if you've seen credit cards, or if your parents have a credit card, when they get a credit card statement, there are two amounts. They'll say, okay, your monthly amount, due amount is, let's say 5,000 rupees, but minimum amount that you can pay is 500 rupees. And what is a bank trying to do when they give that minimum amount? They are trying to lure you. They say, okay, just pay us 500 amount, you can continue to this. But as I mentioned, the downside of using credit card is all the credit cards come with very high interest rate. So let's say if your bill amount is 5,000 rupees and you pay 500 rupees, so you have to pay almost 35-36% interest on the remaining 4,500 rupees. That becomes very, very expensive. So simple answer to that, credit card is nothing but a loan. There is no harm in taking that loan, but you have to be very, very disciplined so that you don't get caught up on the wrong side. All right. So we still have 3 minutes. I'm going to take 2 more questions. Okay. The messages are running very fast. I need to start. Let me. Okay. Someone is asking, what is an insurance? And of course, insurance is slightly kind of advanced concept, but what is an insurance? Okay, insurance is really an amount of money that an organization pays you when you are in a trouble, when you are in trouble. Now, what happens is, why would that organization pay you? Because what happens is they take, so there is something called as an insurance premium. Let's say you have a vehicle insurance. So every month or every year, you have to pay a premium. And let's say there is an accident. Maybe someone hits your vehicle or to kind of repair that. If you have to spend money, then the insurance company will pay you for that. And so how does the insurance company work? Because they take premiums from millions of people. Okay, and not everyone really gets into emergencies, and that's how their businesses work. So whatever money that they collect from premium, they pay back. There's something called as claims. Those are claims. So whoever has asked that question, these are slightly advanced concepts, and maybe yeah, we'll cover it maybe in an advanced session. So it's 5 right now. So ma'am, what's kind of the protocol right now?
Yeah, sir. I can see that the chat is actually going bonkers at my place also, and I can see a lot of hands are raised. But due to shortage of time, we will have to pause this a bit, and we might take the questions from all the participants, and we'll forward you the questions, and probably you can then take them up, because most of them are generic questions which most of the people are repeating. As I can also see that there are a few participants who have joined us a little late, and they were asking us that, could we repeat the entire workshop. So for them, I like to address that the recording of this session will be available under your student login. You can revisit, you can rewatch the entire workshop, and you can revise the concepts. Moving further, I would like to thank you, sir, for sparing your time and educating all of us here, our young achievers here, telling them and making them aware about the basic concepts of money management and how finance is in this moving world, and how they can save their futures, and they can have some earnings through which they can plan a better future for them. So it is better to have a early learning at this age, so that they can plan their future accordingly. So thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time and educating all of us here.
Thank you for the opportunity to present this. I really enjoyed interacting with the students, and I'm really impressed with all the students here, because they have so much of energy, and they want to learn about this. So students, please keep that. We in this age, as I said, the world is very complex, and the only thing that will help us really survive and thrive is to learn continuously, learn about new things. And for some of you who have missed this, or as I mentioned, okay, there is an opportunity for you to learn more about financial literacy, because we are also going to share a lot of material on this. There is a competition. This is a national inter-school competition on financial literacy. There are going to be 2 rounds. You can go to this site and check this out. Okay, we've got students at your age, right, from grade 6 to 8. There are 2 tracks, and you will learn more about it. I would like to thank, so ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you to the entire.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity that I just saw through the workshop. I'll be glad if we can, have a word with this, and we can share this with our camp participants, and we can give them the access through their student login, so that more and more can, participate in this wonderful competition that you have here. So probably after the workshop, we'll connect, and we can see how the students can benefit out of it. So
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, I have few announcements for all of our participants here. Please like, share, subscribe our social media channels for latest updates and announcement. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. All the updates of the workshops and upcoming sessions about the registrations and the visits are available on our social media channels and on our official website, that is camp.res.in. You can also visit your student panel to see if there are certain updates about the content available for preparing for your Camp NASTA assessment. Also, there is syllabus available for your reference, and the recordings of these previous workshop and this current workshop will be available within 1 or 2 days. Also, as I mentioned earlier, that we would love to hear your feedback so that we can keep improving our content. So please fill this quick workshop feedback form and let us know your thoughts. Also get an access to interesting podcasts, journals, articles by CSIR NASPER under your student login. You can visit and watch and read to get latest updates on the latest researches and innovations going in the CSIR laboratories. So with this, I now would like to officially end this session. It was interesting session. It is always overwhelming for me to welcome you all. Every 15 days, every fortnightly, we meet here, we chat, we learn something new. So with this journey, I now invite Vishakha to give the vote of thanks and officially end the session. Thank you so much.
On behalf of camp team, it's a wonderful audience out time to a part of this wonderful session. Now we will end the session and we will meet soon with another exciting session of camp. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Vishakha. Thank you so much, Prasad sir, for having with us. And thank you to my lovely audience. We'll meet you next time. Probably on 26th of August, we'll meet again. So take care, bye-bye, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.